Hi, everyone. Good morning. I wanted to thank Steve and John for the warm welcome. I've been coming to Velocity for a few years now, and I'm a big fan, so I'm really excited to sort of be a part of the family now. So I said I'm going to talk about what's next, which might be a bit of a weird thing to do at the beginning of a conference, but now's when I'm speaking, so now's when I'm going to talk about it. We have such a big audience full of people who've never been at Velocity before. So for me, this is a great opportunity to talk about what more can we do? Where can Velocity go? So some of the things I want to talk about today have already been brought up, which I think is an exciting thing. Fred Wilson and Dr. Cook already talked about a couple of things I want to talk about. So for me, watching what's been happening with Velocity for the last few years, it feels like almost just the tip of the iceberg of where businesses are going. So that shift that I see is really being driven by a move from sequential thinking to concurrency. I don't actually think it's a proper, my clicker's not working yet here, hold on. I don't think it's a proper Velocity until that shows up. So software development, the web, has had this history of a sequential model. So things get thrown over these org chart built walls, right? You have product management, you have design, it goes to development, it goes to QA, it goes to ops. It's not development's problem anymore. They're high-fiving in the bar at 5 o'clock on Friday. And then it's over to customer support. That's all changed. That's an old model, sort of a 1 year plus product development and release. A little way back fun on that. About 10 years ago, I was working at Amazon.com. I was a program manager. And I was working on this feature to try to deliver quasi-real-time information about products on the website. And we really wanted to let people know if something was in stock, how many were there, if not, when was it coming. That project, to put that one little piece of text on the website to change it, took a year and a half. A year and a half. That's ridiculous, right? Does anybody think that's okay? No, nobody thinks that's okay. So a lot has changed in 10 years, and obviously not just for Amazon. Everything now happens in real time, concurrently, and not just on your website, in your organization. So you're doing everything at once. You're acquiring customers while you're developing the product, while you're releasing new features, while you're doing customer support, while you're growth hacking, while you're collecting metrics. It's all happening at the same time. And the reality is, you're always deploying something. And if you don't have an organization that can survive in that kind of environment, you've got problems. An organization that can't exist, I'm sorry, I just can't help it. I love stupid web graphics. But the serious thing about this, the reason I picked a dinosaur, is it's not just about what you're doing on the web. So an organization that can't exist in this real-time, resilient, concurrent world is at serious risk. And Dr. Cook beat me to the healthcare.gov example, but if you think I'm being hyperbolic, that's a situation that impacts millions of Americans. So the skills that you're here to learn about, that people that have been to previous Velocity conferences before know about, they're critical to the survival of what has become now the dominant mode of commerce. This is, I think John said we're nascent, but I don't think we're so nascent anymore. And so what you're all doing now is you're not just building fast websites, you're building real-time businesses. And so that's part of where I see us going, and I already hear people talking about these kinds of things. Fred Wilson talked about that as well. So, from O'Reilly's perspective, we talk a lot about creating more value than you capture. And what I'm seeing when I go out and talk to people about the concepts we talk about here at Velocity is there's a lot of people out there who desperately need to know this stuff that have no clue where to start. And John sort of mentioned part of the appeal of coming to New York is also not just talking to the people who are doing this kind of work with web companies here, but companies that aren't necessarily first to the web, where this is, you got to adapt or die on this front at this point. So my question to you all today is what more can we do to help spread this message, to help get these kinds of critical skills and ideas out to a wider audience? What brought you here? What more can we do? We need to take the lessons that we've argued over and figured out and worked on, and I don't want to say won, but really proven at Velocity. We need to take them out of our data centers, off of our web servers, out into the world, maybe as far as the boardroom, which is certainly what I was hearing from Fred this morning. So what does it take to build a successful real-time business? That's what I'm looking at a little bit further out. That's where I think we're going. And I'd love to hear more on that from all of you here. I'll be at the conference, obviously, for the next couple of days. You can find me there. And if we don't get the chance to meet up and talk about that, you can find me on Twitter and carry on the conversation there. And I look forward to seeing and meeting with more of you over the next couple of days. Thanks.